Well, I think it was a massive help having it there because it does help you. You only do, okay. The demon is the more sensible, the more responsible part of you. So, like, for example, Lara will be running up on a roof, and she'll be about to jump, and Pam will be like, no, don't jump, but she'll still jump. So it just helps that contradiction that she has in her head about, this is dangerous, but I'm still going to do it anyway. So it does help you having that, and it's a beautiful relationship that, for example, Lara has an amazing relationship with Pan. Like, she really loves Pan, and she really takes care of Pan. She has these amazing scenes with Pan where it's just her and Pan talking, and it really helps you as an actor because you really see the interior of life of the character just by talking, because it's talking to yourself, but not because it's outside of you. So that really shows Lara's love towards herself, and you can see different relationships with different characters towards themselves.
You play the most different character, I think, that you've ever played. I think people imagine you as many things, but I'm wondering about the conversation about Texan who flies balloons and why...
Typecast, again. It was very simple, actually. I was working on Mary Poppins Returns at the time. I was in London, and Jane and Jack took me out for a drink, and I didn't know what it was about. I was a huge fan of the Harry Potter play. I'm a huge fan of everything Bad Wolf has done, and so I was like, yes, I will sit and have dinner. And they said his Dark Materials, and I said, yes! And I didn't even know what the part was. I would have sharpened pencils for this. I'm a huge fan of the books. When my wife and I started dating, we read these books together. This is like part of our falling in love story, these books. And it's a beautiful coming-of-age story, and there's a love story in there as well. So they're in a really special place in my heart. And they said Lee Scoresby, and I said yes. And then I figured if they saw it, I could find my way to seeing it. And I love my demon. I've been lucky enough to work at Sesame Street for many years. I write songs for Sesame Street. And when you bring kids to the set, they don't look at the Muppeteers. They're just talking to Elmo, they're just talking to Grover, and that's how it was for us with our demons after a while too. I had this amazing Arctic hare named Hester, and for me she was this beautiful puppet, and the puppeteer who worked with her was so brilliant that I would just be talking to Hester. My relationship with Hester is like, we're like our own little buddy cop movie in the middle of this show, because I think Lee's a lonely guy. He spends a lot of time alone in the air, so we talk to each other constantly. So that was my relationship with my demon.
So from Hester to Stella Maria, the thoroughly badass snow leopard.
Yeah, that's my soul. It's typecast again, right? I think one of the really cool things about this world is that when you're a child, before puberty, your demon is changeable, and it can change into any shape depending on what mood or just what you desire or what would help the situation. But when you reach puberty, when you start to settle on who you actually are, your demon also settles on a form, on an animal's form. And I guess the day that Lord Asriel's demon settled as a snow leopard, he went, wow, I'm totally badass, and I'm a real loner. And this is the other interesting thing, in this world, once your demon settles, you get to look at yourself and go, wow, I'm a subservient dog, or I'm a flighty sparrow, or I'm a badass snow leopard that just walks his own path, you know what I mean? And it's just it's a very different kind of, I guess, relationship with yourself, and your own kind of self-perception changes because you've got a reflection of yourself right in front of you. You can't really hide from. You can't lie to. You can't lie about yourself. And by the way, everybody else can see what your soul is like as well. It's a really interesting, makes for interesting relationship dynamics.
It's one of the most fascinating characters in fantasy literature because she's not readable despite the fact that she has a monkey on her shoulder on the left. She's not someone whose motivations are really ultimately made clear until you're well into the story. I'm wondering for you, what drew you to the character? I mean, this is a character in stock children's fiction who could be played as just a nasty piece of work, but that's not what she is at all. In fact, she's far more interesting than that. So what was it about?
I said this earlier, but when my agent phoned me up and said they want to offer you this quarter, and I didn't know the books either. I'd heard of them and I'd heard about the play, but I hadn't read them. And I said, who? And they're like, come on, it's the most iconic character in kids fiction. And I started reading the books, and there's a description of her as, she says, she's the cesspit of moral filth and the mother of all evil. And I thought, okay, I have to play this role. I can't turn this down. And of course, it's really fun to play bad characters, but what I find so fascinating with her, I mean, she's so complicated, and she's unknowable, and she's frightening for that reason, but what we've done, and Philip Pullman gave us license to dig a bit deeper into her, and to sort of see her on her own with her monkey, to see who she is without Lyra, and why she might do the things she does. And that for me was fascinating, to really dig into why she has a monkey. Why can she separate from her demon when no one else can? Why? I mean, there's really, really deep, sort of sophisticated and complicated things about this character, which make her fascinating to watch and endlessly frightening, because you never know which way she's going to turn. And that was what we've really enjoyed exploring with her. So it's great for me to get to play all sort of facets of her, and that's what Philip allowed us to dig deeper.
James, you are both intensely curious and
Curiously
intense.
Curious.
Stole my mind. In this part, one of the things about Lord Asriel that's interesting is so much of him is pulled in. He's got a lot of mystery to him, and a lot of what you have to convey is limited, at least certainly at the beginning. You're not allowed to convey a lot of what's on your mind, and both you and Ruth have to be not so nice to a child. I mean, you're not mean to her, but you're not, a little withholding.
I'm giving a lot of mean.
Right. I mean,
I'm not withholding the mean, I wouldn't say. I think what's really interesting, you said earlier, this is a sort of a coming of age story in a lot of ways around Dafne. And it's an amazing story of a young person who's an orphan who is struggling to identify herself, and she has these two sort of proxy figures in her life, this uncle and this woman, Miss Coulter, who fill in as proxy parents, it seems, for a while. And she's trying to understand herself through them. I disappear, I run away. Daphne's trying to sort of understand this slippery, mercurial, quixotic figure of Mrs. Coulter as well. And we're so difficult to get a hold of. This girl just needs to get a hold of something. And it's just so compelling. And if we don't withhold, if we aren't mean, which is so crazy, isn't it? That like, your kid is going to love the person that treats them mean, It's like, because it's someone, It's just heartbreaking. But yeah, we do have to be really mean. My demon's a snow leopard. I'm completely solitary, and I'm a predator. Do you know what I mean? I'm hardly cuddly. I'm going to give out, bedtime stories. But yeah, he's got a very important mission. This whole thing, in many ways, you said again, it's a coming of age story. The story won't work unless she comes of age, and that plays into the themes of the whole thing. The whole thing is about freedom, and Lord Asriel is all about attaining that freedom for everyone on a grand scale that we won't give away right now, but he'll sacrifice any love in his life for that goal, for that purpose. And some little girl that he keeps an eye on sometimes, he'll put that second.
in many, the books and the show are a lot about resistance to authority and questioning your authority, right? And thinking about finding the truth. For Lyra, it's really a journey to adulthood. And for you start out this piece as, a very, not always a pleasant child who makes a lot of mistakes on her way to not complete understanding. how close do you think you and Lyra are as
Okay. We are, I think we're quite close. Like, Lyra has taught me a lot, because I've been playing her for over a year now. So, yeah, what I love about Lyra is how much she changes. Like, she learns from other people. Like, she sees Mrs. Coulter's errors and Lord Asriel's errors, and she learns from Lee, and she learns from Yorick. And what's amazing about her is that she just absorbs information so well. So that makes her become a better person. It makes her become, as Jack was saying, someone who only focuses on, she won't be thinking, if I do this, will it make me get further, will it make me go, but she just thinks, is this better, is this going to help people, is this going to, I don't know, but she's not very ambitious, whereas at the beginning, she's like lying all the time, and she's quite arrogant, and she's quite, I'm thinking, not annoying, but
She's quite fun.
she's fun, but she's quite,
Asriel finds her really annoying.
yeah.
Likes her, but she's really annoying.
But she's more, at the beginning, she's much more innocent. Like, episode 1 is totally just like Lyra running around roofs, and then suddenly she's like, BAM! Life smacks you in the face, and then she's like, whoa, what just happened? So that kind of, just all of this pain, smack after smack, just makes her grow so much. Yeah. So I
And
think
she is a big liar.
massive.
Massively dishonest person.
Yeah. I have some really nice scenes with Ruth where I tell her lies and she's like, you're lying.
We sort of lie to each other though, don't we? We're both, I think, well, I'm not sure who's the biggest liar.
Depends which part of the show you take.
It's true.
James, you were referencing this earlier. You play a character who is willing to do quite literally anything to achieve a goal. He starts out, you might think of him as a classic heroic figure, and you really begin to realize there's a price to be paid. There's a ruthlessness about him that is lethal, really. I'm wondering, I mean, you've played such a wide array of characters. What's interesting about him is you really don't know whether he's a good man or a bad man or a bad man with a good aim. What particularly appeals to you about Asriel, and are you as ruthless as he?
No, no, I'm totally not as ruthless as he. I'm a total softie in lots and lots of ways, but it's great fun to play somebody that looks at the world and goes, I don't like this. This is utterly wrong, and I am going to change it, and I'm going to rip it apart doing so, and nothing is going to stop me doing that. Love isn't going to stop me. No sort of romantic love, no familial love, no respect for any institution will stop me from making this world a paradise, and emancipating all of us from these systems of oppression. And I think what you said as well earlier, you said Philip Pullman is really celebrating humanity. I think Philip Pullman almost thinks that, I think part of what he sees as one of the prime characteristics of humanity is rational, creative, imaginative thought. And that even plays into her being a liar. Like, that's her imagination, do you know what I mean? He doesn't call her a liar, he calls her silver tongue. Do you know what I mean? It's beautiful. And he's a celebrant of imagination and logical, rational thought. And that can lead to faith, but there might be some walls that have to be brought down together.
Lynn, you have, you get to do a lot of cool things.
Yeah.
You go from the heights to the literal heights.
They love that.
That was really, really good.
My writers did that for me. No, they didn't. Not writers. I only have myself. What was the scariest or coolest thing you got to do?
Oh, I don't think there was anything particularly scary. It was all really fun. It was a checklist of things I've always wanted to do. Is it a spoiler to say anything about my first scene?
Well, you have to ask.
No, I think you're fine.
Yeah, no. Okay, so I literally come into this thing singing a duet with my demon.
Singing with yourself.
Yeah, on a big ass hot air balloon, which was a pretty fun way to enter the world. And but every day was a different kind of challenge. I think what's so fun about this world is you'll be doing a scene with someone and you're not just looking them in the eye to find their motives, you're looking at what their demon is doing. So every scene is like 3D chess. And that was a really particular acting challenge, and it was really joyous because I mean everyone, not only on this stage but in our company, is of such a high caliber that it really I just learned a lot. And I think that's all you can ask of any project. You cannot control the failure or success of anything. All you can hope to do is like get some more tools for your toolbox for the next one and learn a lot. And I had the best time working on this, and I can't believe we get to go back to summer camp this summer.
Yes.